Okay, welcome back everyone to another special episode of Yoda's Hut. This is round two, game one from the Thanksgiving 2016 Gamers Armory Tourney. I'm Bill. I go by Yodaman on the boards, and I'm joined for commentary by Derek as usual. Hey Derek, how's it going tonight?
Doing all right.
All right, so in the second round, I was matched up against Scott Blanton, who's actually the owner of Gamers Armory. A lot of times he doesn't play in these tournaments. He sort of always just steps into play if we have an odd number of people. And since only 3 people had shown up that day, he pulled out some cards he had and some decks and gave us a fourth so we could run a regular 3 rounds of Sith or Swiss and nobody'd have to sit out. I'm playing light side in this game, so I'll just quickly run down my deck again for what I use in the tournament. I had Jedi Affiliation with 2 May the Force Be With You, 2 Spark of Rebellion, 2 Shield Generator Assault, 2 Planning the Attack, 1 Commando Raid, and 1 Strike Team Assemble. And I actually forgot to get Scott's deck list, but I tried to recreate it from remember what he played and talking to the other people who played He had a Sith deck, and we know there were 2 There Is No Conflict, 2 Power of the Dark Side, 1 Encounter at Stygian Prime, 1 Maw of Madness, 1 Dark Lord of the Sith, 1 Dark Council, 1 Merciless Plans, and 1 set that we just aren't sure of yet. And if we happen to figure it out while we're watching, then I guess we'll mention it. But that was the best of our ability, what we could figure out what he played. So any initial thoughts on this game, even though we don't exactly know Scott's 10th set here?
Yeah. You said there were, was there 3 Vaders you mentioned? 2 of the one for Ancient Rivals and then 1 from Galactic Ambitions, is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. That we knew he
Okay.
had 3 Vaders, and it looked like he started with Encounter at Stygian Prime, Power of the Dark Side, and There Is No Conflict. So he started with the Opposition's Vader.
Yeah, I did see that the objective he buried was the 2nd copy of There Is No Conflict.
Right.
So
that's why I said we knew he had 2 of those.
yeah.
And I started there with May the Force Be With You and 2 Planning the Attacks. And so this was an interesting draw here with what I started with my objectives, because I remember I actually drew Spark also. And so I had to decide, I didn't want to just run Rebel objective because so much of the deck was Rebel characters and events and the resource, the Massassi Temple War Room. So I kept both playing the attacks, and then I ultimately decided to bury Spark. So we're going to see how my Spark deck does without it.
Mm-hmm.
And looks like Scott played Maw, and then after he played Maw, he was able to play Vader's Meditation Chamber for free.
Right.
And it's not too bad of a turn. I don't know if he had anything else that he was going to be able to play. And I think
I saw that he's got at least 1, if not 2, Sith libraries in his hand, and I think he's got the Emperor's Royal Guard as well. I don't know what the 4th card is.
That looks right. I think he had a Vader too, if I remember right. So, so I discarded Battle of Endor because I think I noticed neither one of us had Endor out. So not only did I not have Spark, I didn't have any Endor objectives out to try to help with Han and the Spec Force guys. But they're scouting ahead, which I really like the addition of that card to this deck. So I'm going to get to look at top 4 cards of my deck and the top 4 cards of his deck. And I'll get to keep one and shuffle the other ones back into my deck and do the same thing to him. So I actually decided to take a Dagobah Training Grounds because I needed resources, and I gave him an expendable scout. So,
did you say Dark Council was in his deck?
Yeah.
Did you mention that?
Yeah, Dark Council is in his deck.
Okay. Because I saw the detainment there.
Yeah, that was one of the things I knew he had in there too. So I don't know if he had like a completely different set or maybe something else that he had. He ran as a 2 of one of those things at 1. So
I'm trying to figure out that 10th one while we're doing this here.
Yeah,
See if I can spot something that got missed.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Jeremy and the other guy played in the tournament afterwards, and we just couldn't think of what it would have been based on what we all saw. So I played the Dagobah Training Grounds and then I was able to play Han, the Endor Han. So he's got two black guns, the tactics, the white blast, and he can redirect to different objectives, which is certainly good against Navy. It's probably not going to be quite as critical in this matchup here. So against the Sith stuff. So I'm going to go swing in because Maw is not elite. Maw has edge 1. So if he defends, I'm going to get to lock Maw down. And I was probably just hoping he didn't have a heat in his hand.
Yeah, the annoying thing, though, is you don't have any Endor objectives either, so you can't, like, free up Han, and the spec ops guys when you get them into play.
Yeah, so I'm definitely playing this game in a way that I'm not going to be able to take advantage of two of the main things I wanted to do in this deck, so it'll be a good test to see if it can hold up without some of the main tricks.
Yeah.
So looks like we both put an edge card in here. And I'm figuring as long as he doesn't kill me, I'm going to get the Force with me. The Force be with you. So I played a Seeds. That was pretty good. He had 3. So he won edge. He's going to turn off Hand's Blast, but I'm going to get to Seeds Maw and then also put another token on Maw from Hand's Tactics and do 2 damage to Maw.
Yeah, that worked out pretty well for you.
Yeah, and Maw has that ability that when he strikes, he can like look at a card, and if it's an enhancement, he can sort of take control of it or something. I'm trying to remember what Maw did.
I've never actually used Maw, so I'm not too familiar with what he does.
Yeah, I'm trying to look him up real quick and see if I can dig out the card.
Did you remember to draw your extra cards with your double Yavin?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did that. That I actually had 8 cards. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because I tried to point that out to him because said Scott really doesn't play a lot, so he said he didn't remember last time he played. It'd probably been a couple months, so
yeah,
I was trying to show him in case he hadn't seen it.
A little rusty at the best.
Yeah, and so he had a Sith library there, and there is the Dark Lord of the Sith, Vader.
There's Vader.
So he's got 2 guns. He gains a 3rd gun if your opponent has 3 or more or 2 or more units focused, and he can hit something that's exhausted. So I was sitting there thinking, okay, he can't really get Han right now. That's good.
Yeah, he basically targeted strike against exhausted units. So unless he's got a way to put a token on Han, he's not going to be able to get to him this turn.
Yeah, and I didn't want to defend with Han because with Stygian Prime out, he would lose his elite. So I kind of figured if he struck with Vader, I was going to let it go, although I was also figuring he probably wasn't going to leave me an open board, that I kind of assumed he'd just commit Vader at this point, and that is what he did.
I think that's what I'd do in his position, too.
Yeah, so he took balance back. That was at 2 because I took it back before he went.
Yeah, the only problem is you're going to be getting 8 cards a turn. He needs to get those turned off as soon as possible.
Yeah, so I'm pointing both to my planning attacks there and saying I'm going to drop to 8. And I didn't actually discard anything, which makes me wonder. And I see it looks like I grew ground support. And there's the Massassi Temple War Room.
That's always good.
Yeah. And especially because it's a Rebel-affiliated card, too, which is just better. And
now, does it lose elite, though, with Stygian out there, though?
That's a good question. I don't remember how Stygian reads.
I don't remember the wording on Stygian, if it says, like, just all your cards or all your characters or all your units or what.
It is enemy units lose elite.
Enemy units, okay, so it doesn't affect the temple.
No, which is good to know. Glad when you said that, I'm like, did we misplay this or something? So I think I'm trying to figure out what to play, and I decided to play Dodana. And then I think I pointed out to Scott that what his ability was, but it wouldn't trigger because I have to actually get him on the board first. So, but this is looking pretty good here because I can probably lock Vader down thanks to Han, and then send Dodana in after something and get some damage and maybe turn off Stygian Prime.
Yeah, but by doing that, you're gonna focus Han, which means Vader's gonna be able to come after him the next turn. So that's the only
Yeah.
danger. Assuming you commit Dodonna and have him for blocking.
Right, so I am sending Dodonna in here. And I also have to be a little wary of the power of the dark side being out since I'm committing things with May the Force be with you.
Yeah, exactly, because Vader could do the damage and get Han down to 1 health, and then if he is able to take Force, he's also got that guard in his discard pile now that he can bring back.
Right.
So if he's able to get Force, yeah.
Definitely wary of that. So looks like we're going to edge, and he's blocking with Vader, and we each put in 1. I put in ground support, and he put in I think that was Dark Genocide. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Box Pod.
Yeah,
you had that on your list too, right?
Yeah, so he's I had Merciless Plans on there.
Okay.
And so I think he should have double focused Vader.
Yes, he should have.
I wonder if we'll catch that. Yeah, and I did 1 to the objective. Oh, yeah, I don't think we caught that. Yeah, he should have done that. I could have locked him down.
Yeah, you got to is it 2 or 3 you have to do to Stygian to turn it off?
You have to do 3 to it.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Oh, we did miss that he didn't. I'm watching this now. He definitely should have double focused Vader.
Yeah.
And we're going to catch it. We didn't catch it yet. Well, I think I'm debating Han going in and putting the tactics.
Yeah, because I would think that would be when you would catch it, to say, hey, why isn't Vader got 2 on him?
And I just completely missed it there. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, and I went after Stygian Prime, and I put another one on Maw because I guess I was forgetting Vader should have been double focused. Wow, that was a mistake on my part. I guess I was tired on Saturday morning.
Brain fart.
Yeah, so I took balance back with me. Yeah.
Now you better hope he doesn't get a heat either.
Yeah. So I did free up to Donna with May the Force be with you, so Donna only went to 3. But yeah, I could have triple focused Vader then. Wow. Instead of double focusing Maw.
Yeah, that would have been much more effective.
Well,
Vader's scarier than Maw.
We all make mistakes, and we both missed that one. So there's another Sith library. And there is a Sith warrior. Well, I can understand why Scott did it. I'm more surprised because he doesn't play as much, but I'm more surprised I completely forgot about it.
Yep.
And then he played the Imperial Functionary, so I lose all instance of Protect, but I don't think I have any Protect in this deck.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Which is...
Well, you do have the one...
Oh, yeah, I have Strike Team Assemble. That's right. I have
the one card that can do it.
Yep, I sure do. So... But I think I was looking at this thinking, okay, that could have been way worse when he had 6 resources if he drew Palpatine. Yeah. That could have been bad, but he just played a Sith warrior, which has the shield, functionary, and I'm sure at this point, I didn't really want to defend with Dodonna because I was gonna he would get killed. But I would think Scott probably wanted to turn off planning the attack if he could, to try to keep me drawing these cards. So
I'm thinking he wants to send Vader to turn at least one of those off and put damage on Han. That way his 2 other guys are both capable of killing either Han or Dodonna when they attack.
Right. And then now if he does that, though, I am going to get to keep balance. So and I think somehow he shifted the camera. Sorry about that. I can see it. The table definitely looks angled now. I guess the camera got bumped.
One thing, it looks like he's sending Vader at May the Force, which I don't think that's the best target at this point.
Yeah,
he might have taken that functionary who's doing nothing and send him by himself at planning the attack. Because then if you block with Dodonna, Dodonna's going to have to focus him or die, and if he does, then you're going to have 2 focused units, and Vader is going to be able to target and strike the other.
Yeah, and he did go after May the Force be with you. It might be one of those things where he was, even though I was using Plan the Attack, he hadn't played against it much, and you're so used to wanting to get May the Force be with you off the board that he just went for that.
Yeah.
And then this was an odd play I remember him doing that he sent both of his guys after one of the planning the attacks. And I kind of thought, okay. Like, if that's what you want to do,
there's
Scott.
nothing to be gained there.
Yeah, and I think I reminded him about the shield, too. I don't remember if or maybe I didn't. I thought I told him about the shield for Sith Warrior.
Well, he's playing an edge card, too. What's he doing?
Oh, he played Ancient Rivals. And with There Is No Conflict out, he's going to get to put a focus token on one of my objectives.
Okay.
But he doesn't have the Vader that would actually trigger with the
damage.
Card. Yeah. So, I think I just pointed out that he should add a shield.
I think you put it on May the 4th just because you've already got 3 sources of Rebel resources. You might as well limit the Jedi.
Yeah, he wouldn't have known that really the only thing I needed to play with the Jedi thing would be Yoda or Yoda, you seek Yoda, because I have Spark, but you can play Kanan no matter what. So
sure.
And so I did keep balance because he went all in there, which kind of surprised me. I think that's one of those cases where Scott doesn't play as much, so
it's
so
out of practice.
Yeah, so I put a damage on Sturgeon Prime to turn it off. So then Han was elite. So I think I was telling him that resource is elite because I think he acted like he hadn't played that much either. And then now Han was elite because I turned Sturgeon Prime off. So that worked out pretty well. Now I got a free board to swing at. And
that looks
resources.
Like it could be a problem for him.
Yep.
Because he overcommitted there.
And I think I had another ground support in my hand. Yep, there it is.
Ooh.
And I remember thinking at this point that I was really close. Like if I had an Endor objective, I think I might have had a Spec Force guy even too. Oh, I just drew a card with Dodana because I used the Avon 4 resource that I could have potentially won, but I think I was going to end up being a little short. Mm-hmm. So there's a Children of the Force for 2. That's got a blast. And there's a Spec Force guy.
Yeah, I mean, you could send Dodana at ground support and then redirect Han to go there a second time and blow it up.
Right.
That'll take out Maw. That'll put a damage on Vader. You could get a third focus token on Vader and a second one on one of the other guys.
Right. So, yeah, with Han, I could definitely redirect and take advantage of that to blow it up. And I've got Dodana still if I want to attack. I said it really was a matter. If I had had an Endor objective, I think when I was figuring stuff out, I might have done that. I think that's where Scott said he made a mistake. He probably shouldn't have attacked with both those at the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I was a little surprised you did that, but I thought you had a plan or something. I didn't know why Sometimes I sit there and think people do things that are odd, but I'm weary that they have some plan I'm not thinking of because he still had resources over there too. So I'm like, maybe he's going to rage Vader or something or.
Well, the thing is, I think he was, if you block with Dodana, even if you win edge, he would have been able to kill him.
Right.
That's why, because he had 2 guys with black guns, and you didn't have enough damage to kill either one. You could only tactics 1.
Right.
So that was, if he blocked with 1 and you won edge, you just focus him and he doesn't turn off planning the attack.
Exactly.
So that would be my guess as to why he did it that way.
Yeah. So I think I remember sitting here for a while trying to figure out what was the best way to do this. I wanted to attack with Dodana. I wanted to redirect with Han to blow up ground support. I wanted to get as much damage out there as I could. And so I ended up taking Dodana right at ground support first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I focused Vader, so now he is triple focus, and I'll do 3 to ground support.
Yeah.
And then I think what I did was I sent Han in after something and redirected. Because Han can redirect it without limitations that you already attacked something. You can just move around.
Like the secret objective limitations are not the same with him.
Yeah. So I think I attacked There Is No Conflict and then said when I strike, I'm moving to ground support.
Mm-hmm.
Which was going to give it 1 damage. I'm going to get tactics. I put it on the functionary because that wasn't shielded.
Right.
And then when I blow it up with unopposed, that's going to do a damage to all his objectives and all his units, and that takes out Maw.
Takes out Maw, puts the second one on Vader.
put one on the functionary, shield, Sith warrior, and then one on each objective too.
Yeah.
So it ended up with 2 on Power of the Dark Side, and 1 on There Is No Conflict. And then I remember here thinking, did I want to get this? How did I want to get the second objective? And I think I'd ultimately decided to go after Power of the Dark Side and just blow that up.
Yeah, the Stygian isn't doing anything right now.
And that's why I said if I'd had an Endor objective, I could have just won. Which was pretty, that was kind of a blitz on my part, like how much damage I just did there. So I blew up Power of the Dark Side, so I don't have to worry about it. And then there's still 4 damage on Sturgeon Prime, so I've blown up 2 things with ground support in that. And I committed the Children of the Force just because it had 2 health. And
it actually reminds me
kept
of the game
balance.
that we played the other night on Octagon, where I miscalculated thinking I'd be able to have your Spec Force guys locked down, and I overcommitted, and then you ran me over the next turn, kind of like you just did right here.
Yeah, but again, I was able to use Han's ability, but this deck, I have Spark in there, and I've got the Han in there to try to be able to double strike, and I don't have either one of those out right now. So, yep. I mean, my deck's doing some work against this Sith build that Scott had, even without Spark or the Spec Force guy trick. So I was pretty pleased about that. Now he's got 7 resources, so I'm still worried about a Palpatine here. So
I think that's practically the only thing he could get right now that would be useful.
Yeah, and he also flipped up another.
You have too many guys right now.
Yeah. He also flipped up another Power of the Dark Side, which means, and there is Palpatine from Galactic Ambition. So if that one's committed, you get to free up a unit committed to the Force.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be really bad for my board in a second because I've got 2 on the Force, that are, or I've got 1 icon on the Force. So he's going to be able to free up Palpatine, or use Palpatine, just commit them, and Power of the Dark Side is going to take out Dodonna and Han.
Yeah.
Oh, he was rearranging. He's going to play this Sith. He had another Sith library. I think I was telling him he could just play that first, and then he'd still have Vader's Meditation Chamber free if he wanted it. Yeah, I just let him rearrange how he's paying for it, because I figured he could have done it. It wasn't a big deal. And so my guess is...
The other thing is whether or not he remembers his Royal Guard, too, in the discard pile to bring that guy back.
Oh, yeah, because I think he discarded him in an edge battle, right?
Yeah, he discarded him, I think, after turn 1.
Yep. So I think I'm telling him, all I got is my Children of the Force here.
Yeah, I was thinking you could attack with Palpatine and lock stuff down, but the reality is he doesn't really have to do that. He just because of Power of the Dark Side eliminating both your mains, you're probably just better leaving him for defense. Yeah,
so he's going in with the Sith Warrior after the undamaged planning the attack as the camera moves again. And I decided to block here thinking that the Sith Warrior only has guns, so if I can somehow win this edge battle, I'm going to keep planning the attack turned on.
Well, you also keep you take down his edge hand, because if he can't win edge next turn, he probably loses.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you only need 1 damage.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too. I was going to try to suck out as many cards as I could out of his hand, because I was figuring Han and Dodonna were toast.
I think at this point he just should have left planning the attack on, because he could block with the Sith Warrior and put a shield on that objective.
Yeah. So he played. Well. Yeah, he played another Ancient Rivals. So I did twist it away, but he's going to be able to actually. He's going to get to trigger it still, because There Is No Conflict is just reveal. So even though I twisted it, he can put a focus on something. So he put it on the other planning the attack that time, get rid of my rebel resources. So, and now we got another edge battle, but he's down to, I think, like 3 cards now.
Yeah, he's not going to have the edge cards for the next turn.
Yeah, so I put 1 in. I said, and if I somehow win this edge battle, he's not going to turn off planning the attack. So I actually put in 6, and he put in 1. he had a bones there. I gave up a secret objective because I figured at that point it wasn't going to matter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep planning the attack turned on, even though the Children of the Force is going to get double focused. I tried to do a damage to Sith Warrior, but he shielded it. And now he's just got Palpatine left on defense, but he should be able to free up Vader. And like I said, I don't remember if he remembered the Royal Guard champion or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's freeing up Vader. I think he's going to trigger Power of the Dark Side here. I think he remembered that, or maybe so that actually going to kill everything but my Spec Force guy.
Yeah.
And now
so
I was
close,
sitting,
but so far.
Dial's still only at 4, so I'm like thinking I should be able to get 1 damage in with the dial only being at 4 here, right? I mean, before he can blow up 3 objectives.
Yeah, the fact is that he's only got 2 cards now, so if the Spec Force could probably do it on his own, assuming he doesn't have a heat of battle. But other than that, any unit with a blast, whether it's edge dependent or not, and at least 2 health is probably going to win the game for you.
Yeah. I really need another unit just to be on the safe side in case, since he has the Galactic Ambitions Vader, I have to worry a little bit about the Visage of the Dark Lord too.
Yeah.
So there, I decided to Yoda. You seek Yoda because I figure Yoda's good.
Yeah, last I heard he was pretty good.
So that'll move the dial to 5 there.
Oh no, you're in kill range if it goes another turn.
Yeah, that was the one drawback, but I'm hoping I can just finish him off here with all my cards.
He's only got enough blast to take out 1 objective anyway right now.
Yeah. And then I played Page, I guess just to get 1 more blast in there. And then I'm sending everybody in but the Spec Force guy. I guess he's back just in case to try to sneak Force back or something.
Well, if he wins Edge, Palpatine focuses 2 and still could kill the Spec. So there's no reason,
So we're going to Edge battle.
He's only got the 2 cards.
I think I'm probably going almost all in here. Maybe save 1 card just in case. And I had a Seeds and other stuff. I think he only had 3. He did forget to bring his Royal Guard back, but I'm not sure it would have mattered based on what I had. I had a bunch of cards in Edge.
Yeah.
So I was able to just take out the Sturgeon Prime and win. So that was good. I was glad to get that win there. Without having Spark out and the Endor stuff, I was definitely a little worried about that. And I think Scott and I were just talking about the game there, his what he should have done differently and things. But it's hard when you haven't played the game in a while to try to go play in a tournament like that.
Yeah, no, if you definitely make mistakes that you normally wouldn't do when you're rusty and are just not as familiar with the current game meta.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, so you got any thoughts about that overall? I was pretty pleased with my deck there, even I said with missing the tricks and still performing pretty well. Ground support definitely got some mileage though. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a pretty big hit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it did just fine. He didn't really have much out there. Most of the damage he did, though, was on the turn that he overcommitted. So, yeah, who knows if it would have gone any different. Because he would have had more health, and then he would have had Palp and Vader, and you had a much more limited board that turn. So had you not won that turn, and he'd have had a little more health to deal with on those objectives, he might have been able to make something out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, you never know.
All right, so that'll wrap it up for this game. That's first game of round 2, and we'll keep doing the commentary for the other games as we get the chance here. So thanks again for joining me for commentary on this one, Derek. Appreciate it.
Yep, anytime.